Maamar from Tafshin Memvav, Shabbos Parshas Hachodesh. So this Shabbos we're going to read in the extra Sefer Torah. We're going to take out Chodesh as Elochem. This month is for you, Rosh Chodashim, the head of the month. Rishon Hu Lochem L'Chot Shashon. It's the first for you of the months of the year. It's known the Maamorim of Arabim are to all the generations on this pasuk. Till this Maamar by the same title of the also the Shabbos Parsha Chodesh of the year Tafshin 1940. There was also a leap year, like this year is, like Tafshin Memvav was the year and that was when very soon after the Frierdiker Rebbe arrived in the United States. That he asks over there, and he analyzed and also in the Maamorim prior to that Maamar, of previous years, the Maamorim ask, we need to understand what is this exact language that it says in the pasuk. Why does he repeat the matter by saying, Rishon Hu Lochem L'Chot Shashana? It's the first for you of the months of the year. Why is he repeating that? It says, this month for you is the head of months. Why does it say, Lama Koifel Barichas Kazu? Why does he repeat it and such length? Rishon Hu Lochem L'Chot Shashana. It is the first for you for the months of the year. We already said that concept. It's the head of the months. That's it. In the close, any movement from this general idea, it's understood. There are two levels. Aleph is Chodosh. First, there's months. And that's one thing that Nisan is. That Nisan is the head of the months. Then there's another thing, Va'abez. A second thing is not just months, that there's also Chodshei Hashana, months of the year. Days in Yonim Elu, Nisan Hu Aroish. Both in months by itself, Nisan is the head, and also when it comes to the months of the year, Nisan is the first as well. Rosh Chodashim, that's one thing, head of months. The Rishon L'Chot Shashana, the first of the months of the year, that's a second. Fibers, and he explains concerning this. These were Medrash Rabbah al Pasuk, brought down Medrash Rabbah on the Pasuk. Chodesh Hazeh this month for you. When Hashem chose His world, Shezek Koilol Beis in Yonim. In Hashem choosing His world, there's actually two components, two aspects. Aleph, first of all, there's Brias Ha'olam, there's the creation of the world. Beis, there's a second aspect called Abchira Ba'olam. Once he created the world, He chose this world. Kavah by Rosh Chodashim V'Shanim. He established in the world heads of months and years, and that was Tishrei. Tishrei was the heads of months and the heads of years initially when Hashem created the world. And once Hashem chose Yaakov and his children. And also in this, this also is made up of two components. First, he created Yaakov and his children. And afterwards, he chose Yaakov and his children. He established in it a head of month of redemption that is unique to the Jewish people. That's why it says, this month for you, because this was something special for the Yidden. Once Hashem chose the Yidden, once Hashem took the Yidden out of Golus, He established now a special type of thing that wasn't there before at the beginning of creation. This means when Hashem created this world, immediately when He minimized the moon from when it was originally fully bright like the sun, and now He minimized it. So now you have the cycle of the new moon once every month. So right away then, at the creation of the world, Nikva Inyan Rosh Chodesh Yud Beis Pam B'Shana, it was established Rosh Chodesh 12 times in the year, B'Chulu, etc. That's why it says the Zel Inyan Kava Bei Rosh Chodesh. That's why it says that when Hashem chose His world, He established in it heads of months. In a similar vein, at the beginning of the months of the year, there's also the month of Tishrei, that's the beginning of the year. That's the idea that he established years. So he established months and he established years. And afterwards, when Hashem chose Yaakov and his children, Nifbal Inyan Chodosh B'Naila Yoser. So now something new and higher was now affected and came about. Chodesh Shel Geula, a month of Geula, and as we said before, which has in it two components, which is a Paul Gamkin Ha'inyon. The Rosh Chodashim V'Rishon L'Chodesh Hashanah. It affected also the matters of a head of months and the first for the months of the year. In other words, just like when Hashem created the world, He didn't just create months, He created years. The same thing, when Hashem chose Nisan to be the month of Geula, so He established two aspects. And we'll soon explain what those two aspects are. Head of months, that's one aspect. Similar to Hashem creating the idea of Rosh Chodesh when He first created the world. And He also created the Rishon L'Chodesh Hashanah, the first of the months of the year, similar to the fact that He established years that will go by a yearly cycle. What those two things are, starting from the month of Nisan, we'll soon see. The Inyan Hachodesh as Elohim Goyim Shenikva Kishabachar B'Yaakov Banu. We understand the advantage of this month is for you when it was established when Hashem chose Yaakov and his children. Yes, Levayat Chila Bir Inyan Mishabachar Ubara Hakadosh Baruch Hu Ba'Olam Mekav Barash Kodash Mishon. We have to first explain the idea that when Hashem chose and created the world, He established and set in it heads of months and years. By first explaining the great thing that Hashem did, that when He created the world, He set heads of months and years, then we'll be able to build from that, and Yuvan Yoiser will be understood more so. The advantage of the idea of a month of Geula, redemption, that was established after. The idea behind it is the advantage of Hashem choosing in His world. The Inyan Chodesh Tishrei, and the idea of the month of Tishrei in general, the world being created that took place in the month of Tishrei was something from nothing. Which because of Bereshit, it's the beginning. Hashem created the heavens and the earth. This includes the entire chain order of descent of all the different levels. As a Shemayim l'Rabbis Sva'ayim, the heavens to include all of its hosts. That's the Oris l'Rabbis Sva'ayim, and the earth to include all of its hosts. Sha'akol nivra yesh ma'ayin, everything was created, something from nothing. Yiloshin b'riya, bara l'kim, the expression of creation. The Elohim created, Koy al Bria Yesh Ma'ayin is referring to the creation of something from nothing. Mashakos of Ramban, like the Ramban wrote, Hashem Bria B'Loshen HaKodesh, that when you use the word bara in Hebrew, what does it refer to? What's the meaning of the word bara? What's its usage? Koy Aleitzoyes Yesh Ma'ayin. It's referring to extracting and bringing forth something from nothing. The Inyan Abriya Yesh Ma'ayin Hu Inyan Naila B'Yoyser. The idea of creation of something from nothing is a very high and lofty thing. In the Bor Bekam Chassidus Chassidus, like it's explained in many places of Chassidus, V'Adshim of word Igeres HaKodesh, until it's explained in Igeres HaKodesh. In the back of Tanya, at the end of Tanya, Sharak milchusay v'atzmusay shalamaitzel baruch hu. Only the very being of the emanator, blessed be he. Shemitziyusay hu ma'atzmusay. Hashem's very essence comes, or Hashem's very essence is the aspect that comes from he himself. He did not need something. It does not come into being for any prior cause. Only Hashem, who is not made by any prior cause, can create something that is coming out of nowhere without any seeming prior cause as well. This understood that the coming into being of the world, that's connected with the month of Tishrei. There's something very lofty about it because it's connected with Hashem's very essence, because Hashem's very essence is responsible for the creation of something from nothing. And especially so, that afterwards, in the creation, was affected the idea that it will not cease, that Hashem promised after the Mabul that the order of everything, night and day, the winter and summer, etc., all these things are never going to cease. Heder Hashinui, lack of change. The Chola and Yonam Amnuim, because of in all the aspects and components that's enumerated in the pasuk. Zera v'kotzir, harvest time, or planting time and harvest time, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night, all these things will never change. What's the significance of immutability in nature? The idea of the unchanging, immutable aspect of nature is a very high matter. It's actually an expression and comes as a result of Hashem's immutability. That's why the nature is immutable as well. Like it's brought down in many places concerning this matter of the immutability of the natural cycle of things. They use the term Loi Shonisi, that I am unchanged, meaning that Hashem's unchanging nature manifests itself in the natural cycle of things that are unchanged. It's also something that draws down and comes as a result of Hashem's very essence. Only in Hashem himself and Hashem's very essence, the lack of change, immutability, is totally pure. I'm moving from this understood. The fact that Hashem chose Yaakov and his children, and he established for them a month of redemption, is even higher than the unbelievable things that we just now spoke about, the immutability of nature and the creation of something from nothing, which is all indication of Hashem's very essence. Despite how high that is, it's still greater what takes place in the Hachodesh al Geula, in the month of redemption, the month of Nis. Indian, whose idea behind this is the Isa Sefer Akedah, who will become Chassidus, is brought down the Sefer called Akedah, brought down in many places of Chassidus. There are two ways to become aware of Hashem's greatness, the Creator's greatness. One is manhaga tivis. One is by seeing the way the world runs according to natural laws. From that we could derive Hashem's greatness. Another way is manhaga nisis, when Hashem runs things in the supernatural. I know what is the Akedah saying over here. The gam manhaga tivis masigim gadlus haboidoi. Also from the natural way how things run, we comprehend the greatness of the Creator, bechinas loisha nisi, his unchanging state. Damit is inyan loisha nisi bechek haboida belvad. That's musi is baruch. The true idea that I'm unchanged is only in the Creator's capability. As we mentioned, Hashem's very essence, Masha Enkin and Nivroim, as opposed to created beings, they are always changing. Mekivin sheyesh lam tchila. Since they have a beginning, arei yesh lam sof. There's a rule. Anything that has a beginning must have an end. It's called built-in obsolescence. Therefore, it must be that immediately after created beings begin, as soon as they come into being, yesh bam shinui, they already have a change. V'chalishus mizman lizman, and they become weaker as time goes on. And as time goes on, they go on and become weaker until they reach the end of the line where their existence ceases to be. Like the well-known expression of the Mefarish called the Bechaya, skip the parentheses. That a baby, from the moment the baby is born, he begins to dry up. In other words, he begins the process of the march towards the grave, to use a term. And even though when a child is born, he's actually growing. So he's like increasing. Till he's 1 year old, the Pirkei Avos says he chases after making a living, and when he's 30, he has strength. Concerning his very existence, the quality, the essence of his life being, the fact that he was born, in his very birthness, he goes on and he dries up, whatever the explanation this is. So what is that? This here we see is that what we see over here is that essentially all creations are meant and in a state of falling apart. All of this is every creation on their own, left to their own devices, without a special injection of something supernatural. So that's the novelty in what it says, that they will not cease and not change. They are immutable. That there was imposed from above, there was given from above a power in the created beings, that they should be in a way that they are unchanging. It's a revelation of the power of the Ein Sof. Became, despite that, this way, how the world acts in a way that's unceasing and unchanging, that's truly a sign of Hashem's essence. And like the Hachodesh says, from this we could derive the greatness of the Creator. Still in all, it's running the world in a natural way. The Teva, nature is an idea of descent. It says that in the earth, it's the gates of the Beis Hamikdash sunk in. So with Teva, it's in the word tubu, sunken in. Though in the way the world runs is a revelation of Hashem's unchangeable being. The Kol Makmam Shacha Zui Ba'ifin Shal Yedida V'Helam. This Amshacha is in the way of a descent and concealment. As opposed to Hashem chose Yaakov and his children, and he established in it a head of month of redemption. The Geula hu inyan shel nes. Redemption is an idea of miracle. The other way how Hashem runs the world, in the supernatural, miraculous way. That's why it was specifically established in the month of Nisan. It's called Nisan al Shem Nisan Shenasu by, because of the miracles that occur in it. That's why it's called Nisan. The idea of a miracle is going up high and raising something up. Like it says in the pasuk, Arim Nisi, I will raise up my banner. So we see Nes is from the word banner, which someone raises up high. The Not only is a miracle, not a descent and concealment, like Teva is, like nature is, and the word sunken into the earth, like we said before. Even the Hagbah it's in a way of rising up and going up high. Before the Hemshka Maamar, like explained the continuation of the Maamar over there of the Friedrich Rebbe, Matams and that Matan Torah for this reason. It says Matan Torah, when Hashem introduced himself to the Yidden, he said, I am Hashem, your God, that took you out of the land of Mitzrayim. It doesn't say, I am the God, I am God, your God, that created the heavens and the earth. Though the idea of the creation of heavens and earth is a very great thing, like we said before, it's the creation of Yesh Me'ayin, which comes from Hashem's very essence, especially through the idea of a lack of change that comes about in the creation. Still in all, the idea of the Exodus from Mitzrayim, that's the miracle and redemption, that is beyond this. That is higher than the idea of creation. Because over here we have a revealed aspect of godliness in a way of miracle, meaning uplifted very high. Here we're going to bring in something that we learned also in the Sikha that we were speaking about yesterday. Yes, Shloimar, we could say, this is also the inner meaning behind the dispute of Rabbi Lezer and Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Lezer Sviralei, the Betishrei Nivra Olam, Ubetishrei Asidin Legoil. Rabbi Lezer holds that in Tishrei the world was created, and in Tishrei they will become redeemed. And Rabbi Yeshua Sviralei, Ben Nisan Nigalu, in Nisan the Yidden were redeemed from Mitzrayim, Ben Nisan Asidin Legoil, and in Nisan they will be redeemed. We remember we brought down that there's a machlokes in the Gemara about this. This is the machlokes we were talking about. So what is the idea behind this dispute? What is the inner point behind this argument? Since the natural way of running the world, that's connected with the month of Tishrei and the creation of the world, is a very elevated and high thing. Therefore, Rabbi Lezer holds that the revelation when Mashiach comes will also be from this level. But Tishrei, Asidim Legoel, and Tishrei, they will become redeemed. Much enk in Das Rabbi Yeshua, as opposed to the opinion of Rabbi Yeshua. Kishmoi Kain Hu, Yeshua Meloshin Yeshua. Yeshua is the same related to the word Yeshua, salvation, the time of Mashiach. So he holds the Benisn, Nigalu Benisn Asin Legoel. Both in the past, the Yidden were redeemed in Nisan, and in the future, they're going to be redeemed in Nisan when Mashiach comes. The Svira lay because Rabbi Yeshua holds Shagili the loss of love, the revelation of Mashiach's times. Is connected with the idea of a miracle that's beyond nature. Yet, the way how the miraculous revelation of Hashem that's affected in the month of Nis Chodesh, the month of redemption, can manifest itself in two ways. Aleph, one way is it's the head, as we said before, for the miraculous way of running the world. It's removed from and has no influence on the natural way how the world runs. But is a second way how it could be. When the month of Nisan becomes established as the head of the month of redemption, he also influences on the nature that there is in the world, that also in nature there is miracles embedded in nature also. And these two ways are going to be connected to the two expressions that we started off asking about at the beginning of the mind. That's also the manner of the redemption of Mashiach's times. When Mashiach comes, it will be a revelation of the miraculous way of running the world. Okay, move by Maamar, like it's brought down the Maamar, and we had this point yesterday as well. The after the Gemara have a plug the Rabbi Lazar Rabbi Shiur. Though in the Gemara there's a dispute between Rabbi Lazar and Rabbi Shiur. Mikol Makim still know the Medrash Rabbi, Ichri Rabbi Satmo, Rabbi Yeshua still know the Medrash Rabbi. They concluded, and they just said, Stam, like we said, according to Rabbi Yeshua. And Rabbi Yeshua is the opinion that holds that in Nisan they'll be redeemed. And that's what's said in the Medrash. Just brought down Rabbi Yeshua's opinion without even giving any idea that there's another opinion. Yesh Lahoysim, the Rebbe says we can add according to the well-known rule. In a place where there's dispute amongst codifiers in halacha, Kabbalah will weigh the scales in one opinion. We could say in a similar vein, when there is in a place where there is a disagreement in the Gemara, but in the Medrash, which is Agadata, not the halacha part of the Gemara, like we spoke about yesterday, they said it just according to one opinion. Halacha kemaisa, so then the halacha follows that one opinion that the Medrash quoted. So therefore, the ruling is like Rabbi Yeshua, that it's benis nasidim legoil, that Mashiach's times is going to be a miraculous way of running the world. But in that miraculous way of running the world, it's still going to mesh with nature. V'afal bikain, and still in all, hagilui, the loss of love, the revelation of the future time is not just a revelation of light that's beyond nature. Nature itself will change, will be in a different manner. Moving on, like it's also understood from what the Rambam wrote. Then it will be that Hashem will be the reign. In other words, Hashem will rule over the world. Hashem will rule over the entire world, also concerning non-Jews he will rule over. This means this means there will be an existence of non-Jews, and there will be the nature of the world. But the way the world will run will be in a different way. The Amduzadim, foreigners, meaning non-Jews, will arise. They will take out your sheep to pasture, etc. Now we understand the two parts of the pasuk. One thing is that Nisan is the head of the months. And Rishon hu lachem l'chad. It's first for you for the months of the year is that second component. It has both aspects, not just the miraculous way of running things. That's the idea that the month of Nisan is the head of months. But additionally, it's also the first of the months of the year. Also in the months of the year. It's the idea of the way how nature runs. The way the year runs, the seasons and so on, is in a way of immutability. So even in nature, even in the months of the year, even the natural thing, Nisan becomes the head. That miracles impact and influence nature. So now the Rebbe brings us a very practical, down-to-earth type of application of this in our own lives. There is the supernatural aspect, the Torah aspect of our lives, and then there is the daily grind of our lives. And the Torah has to influence, like the miracle has to influence the nature. Since this idea is part of Torah, which Torah is in the word lesson and directive, move, and it's understood. There's a lesson and an empowerment to every single Yid. Befrat, and especially b'Shabbos doing this Shabbos. In Parshas do Parshas Hachodesh b'tzibur fares, where we read this Parshas Hachodesh. We read it in public and in a very well-known way. There's a special lesson in the avoid of every single one from the above mentioned content that we said. Not only do we have a lesson, this pasuk and this idea in the Torah gives the empowerment for every person to be involved in this avoid. But Inyan, who the idea behind this is, every single Jew has the natural component of his life. What does that mean? His permitted things that he does, things that are outside of the realm of Torah mitzvahs. Macholoi, mashkeu, his food, his drink, etc. Concerning this, we derive from the fact that we say that Nisan is not just Rosh Chodesh, but it's also Rishon Lochem L'Chodesh Hashanah. It's the first for you for the months of the year. The part in a Yid that is his own personal month of Nisan. The part of the Yid that it's his miracle, it's beyond his measures and boundaries. So the Chliyas HaRosh U'Manigel B'chinas Teva Shabai has to be the head and the leader and what runs his natural part. Rambam, like the Rambam expresses it, just like a sage, just like a wise person is recognized by his wisdom, so he has to be recognized in his mundane actions. In his food, in his drink, and the Rambam enumerates 10 things in what a person needs to express in his mundane life, his sagehood, his wisdom. Now, this is not just talking about some big rabbi, it's talking about every single Yid. Every single Yid is called a Chacham. Because every Yid was given the Torah, it's your wisdom and your understanding to the eyes of the nation. So every single Yid has that Chachma. Therefore, every Yid is a part of a wise and understanding nation. Therefore, he has to emulate what the Rambam said about the Chacham. It has to manifest in his permitted actions the wisdom of Torah that's beyond measure and boundary. Not only does that come down, in this itself, there has to be the ascent and the traveling from strength to strength in the way how he brings in the miraculous into the natural. As we will have when Mashiach comes, that we will be constantly ascending higher and higher. Like it's brought down in Tanya, our primary service when Mashiach comes will be ascending in higher and higher levels in holiness. Then there won't be the idea of the bad to turn away from. They'll only be doing the good. But in the good, doing good will be rising higher and higher. The same thing now, we have to rise higher and higher in bringing the miracle into the nature, bringing the Nisan into the Shana. Through the preparation for all this in the time of Golos in general, especially in Shabbos, the end of the month of Adar, Purim then was the redemption of Purim. In Megula from this redemption of Purim, we bring close one redemption to the other redemption. We come to the month of Nisan, the month of redemption. It will be fulfilled where it says, they will travel and go from strength to strength. The God will appear in Sion. In the literal sense, in Yerushalayim, in the base of Migdash. And Nisan they were redeemed, and Nisan they will be redeemed in the future. And Heira made a Maamar speedily nowadays, Maamar Begula Mitzvah Shlema de Mashiach Tzidkenu, the true and complete redemption through Mashiach Tzidkenu.